Seriously.
Wow. Yeah.
There's really, I don't even know who I'm talking to right now. Like there's...
Yeah, wow. That's mean. You know what? You're gonna die alone and scared. This is horrible!
Well, you know what, Ryan?
Oh, this is horrible. I am sorry. I think you were really nice and sweet, and that was awful. This is awful. If your face was a movie, it would be Shrek.
She makes a really good transformation, so I'm fine with that.
Shrek is not a girl. Shrek is played by Mike Myers. He stays Shrek. God!
It was a little bit weird for the first hour or so, but it was 3 days of shooting, just that one little piece. So, halfway through the second day, you just find yourself pantsless at the snack bar, wondering what brought you here.
We should
Middle of the dinner once, I grabbed the camera and I went in the bathroom and I just took a picture of myself. And I just wanted to see if he would naturally edit these photos at some point. Nope.
He sent it out?
Yeah. So I think there's one day, I hope it doesn't happen, but there's a picture of mine floating around somewhere. There was a bit of perfect. So I'm very grateful to Bill Corso.
Covered in scar tissue.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey besties, welcome back to my channel. Blake Lively had to acknowledge in her motion for summary judgment that one of the claims she made against Justin Baldoni, the one that made the biggest headlines and spread widely online, involving remarks about his personal body, was not what it seemed. In her motion, Blake Lively admits that the conversation was misinterpreted, and Justin Baldoni's testimony confirms that as well. Crucially, this all happened before she ever signed on to the film. At that time, she wasn't an employee of Wayfair or the production of It Ends With Us. She hadn't even accepted the role yet. She invited Justin Baldoni to her home to discuss the possibility of her playing the main character, Lily Bloom, on December 14, 2022. She had no signed contract, had not agreed to take the role, and the situation wasn't as it appeared. So, what actually happened? In her motion for summary judgment, Blake Lively lays out a timeline explaining how everything unfolded. She seems frustrated that Justin Baldoni chose to direct, executive produce, and also be the film's lead actor, even though Colleen Hoover had asked him to act in the role. Meanwhile, Wayfair appointed Heath, who had comparatively less experience, as lead producer and president of It Ends With Us LLC, the fully owned entity producing the film with Wayfair-employed cast and crew. Heath oversaw Saks, a seasoned independent producer. Though that is open to debate, Blake Lively's own film company had closed in 2017 after only a year of operation. She primarily functioned as a financier for projects. Her company's closure was connected to allegations against her partner, and while she was present at events where questionable incidents were reportedly witnessed, she did not intervene. In 2017, a dozen individuals connected to these events spoke to The Hollywood Reporter, though none would go on record due to fear of retaliation from Duncan and Saks. For example, at a dinner in August with Saks and the producers of the upcoming Film Book Club in Los Angeles, Duncan reportedly behaved inappropriately towards several attendees. Book Club, directed by Bill Alderman, features a cast including Diane Keaton, Mary Steenburgen, and Jane Fonda, and Paramount is in the process of acquiring the film. Blake Lively was present at such events but did not take action. In another situation, in December 2016, at a crew dinner on location in Oklahoma for the film Wildlife, Duncan reportedly acted inappropriately with crew members in ways that were concerning, involving unwelcome physical contact and suggestions to others at the dinner. During the events in question, Duncan reportedly encouraged others to engage in inappropriate behavior and offered incentives for reporting back to him. Saks was not present at these gatherings but was reportedly informed of the incidents. Questions arose about why Justin Baldoni decided to bring Blake Lively on board and whether he was aware of her background or her perceived inability to manage prior situations involving her partner. Baldoni denies any of these incidents occurred, and no legal action was ever taken against him. He eventually stepped down, but the production company had already folded financially. Consequently, all films Blake Lively had been involved with prior to It Ends With Us are now viewed with uncertainty. For clarity, Sony agreed to distribute and co-finance the film, with Giannati acting as liaison, while Wayfair would oversee all production aspects. Departments reported to Heath and Baldoni, who had the authority to hire, fire, and discipline staff, though ultimate oversight reportedly rested with Steve Sarowitz. The producers sought an A-list actress to headline the film to ensure commercial success. When Blake Lively showed potential interest, they made every effort to secure her participation. Lively expressed interest, and she met with Baldoni on December 14 in what he described as a private meeting. During that discussion, Baldoni disclosed personal information about himself without Lively having prompted the topic. Lively later spoke with Liz Plank, Baldoni's longtime podcast host, to learn more about his history and approach, and Plank indicated he had been working on himself. Although Lively was concerned, she was not fully reassured by Baldoni's commitment to feminist principles or opposition to toxic behavior. She acknowledged that the conversation occurred before she had signed any contract, and she sought further information from Plank to understand Baldoni better. Lively also commented on Baldoni's multiple roles as executive producer, director, and star of the film. Comparisons were made to other actors like Ryan Reynolds, who similarly carried multiple roles in projects such as Deadpool. It was noted that being an executive producer often refers to financial backing rather than direct production involvement. During discussions about taking on the film, she and Baldoni spoke about their families. At that time, Lively was very pregnant with a boy, and the conversation naturally touched on aspects of her unborn child, including whether he would be circumcised. Baldoni voluntarily shared his own status, but Lively did not directly ask. The discussion included several people in the room, including nannies, assistants, and other visitors. The deposition highlighted that the conversation was largely about family matters and not related to workplace dynamics, as Lively had not yet signed on to the film. Under the law, this does not constitute a workplace harassment issue because no employment relationship existed at that time. Furthermore, if Lively had concerns, she had the option not to sign the contract. Filming was scheduled to start months after she gave birth, presenting logistical and physical challenges typical for a postpartum parent, but she chose to proceed despite these pressures. The discussion about the baby's circumcision, while raised, was minor and did not constitute any professional misconduct. Most people have conversations like this, so her team had to concede in their motion for summary judgment that this discussion took place before Blake Lively ever signed on to the film. However, they are framing it as if Justin Baldoni was already disturbing or inappropriate from the start. If he had truly been problematic and Ryan Reynolds was present, the logical question arises, why would she have agreed to participate at all? Consider that the initial headline from nearly a year ago stated that Baldoni allegedly discussed his genitalia with her, but in reality, it concerned a conversation about whether a baby boy would be circumcised. Baldoni, being raised Jewish, was discussing a religious and medical procedure known as a bris. This discussion was tied to his faith and was a standard medical topic. It is reasonable to assume that Lively brought up the subject, given that she was expecting her first son. Parents often research and discuss such topics extensively prior to a child's birth, consulting various sources and weighing considerations. If this context had been clear from the beginning, it would likely have reframed the situation as less egregious or misleading. Nevertheless, her team has used it to suggest that she approached the situation with bad motives. According to her motion for summary judgment, she did not like Baldoni from the outset, but she chose to proceed with the film anyway. It raises the question, if one genuinely dislikes someone, why would they choose to work with them? Despite this apparent discomfort, she agreed to participate and was compensated with a reported $3 million. Behind the scenes, numerous tensions existed within the production team. Christy Hall did not become director and was reportedly frustrated, Colleen Hoover desired more control, and Alex Sachs wanted to be the lead PGA, whereas Blake Lively did not want Jamie Heath to hold that role. Many disagreements revolved around individuals seeking leadership positions, RAF. It is also evident from her filings that she has pursued motions regarding spoliation and sanctions, seeking to prevent the defendants from claiming a smear campaign as a defense. These filings indicate an absence of proof supporting the smear campaign allegation. The motion states that the defendants' continuous pattern of alleged adverse actions is not directly addressed, and publicity efforts have been characterized as reasonable defensive measures. Lively's legal team argues that the defendants destroyed relevant communications, and that summary judgment on retaliation claims should be denied. Despite these claims, the evidence provided does not substantiate the existence of a digital campaign or coordinated negative press targeting her. According to her description, the alleged smear campaign included press and social media efforts to undermine her. Yet no evidence exists of negative comments from Baldoni, interviews from Jamie Heath, or any public statements that would demonstrate malignment. The claimed damage to her reputation stems from Baldoni allegedly deviating from the agreed-upon marketing plan, supposedly causing harm to Lively and the other female cast members. The defense's explanation that these actions were standard PR or defensive measures is disputed in her filings, which highlight prior agreements and emphasize that the alleged misattribution and narrative conflicts occurred despite those agreements. The discussion continues regarding behavior during publicity and promotional work, which could be perceived as retaliatory. I want to clarify that Ryan Reynolds is a central figure in this lawsuit because he developed the marketing plan. This entire lawsuit can be viewed as Ryan attempting to attribute blame to Justin Baldoni for disrupting the marketing campaign, as Justin chose to provide resources through No More and highlight issues related to domestic violence victims and survivors, which aligns with his long-standing intentions. When Ryan Reynolds and others were excluded from promotional activities, not allowed to participate alongside the cast, and left out of key marketing decisions, the focus shifted to Baldoni's actions. Importantly, Justin's efforts did not harm anyone, neither the cast nor the crew, nor Blake Lively herself. Her motion for summary judgment does not emphasize concern for victims, nor does Ryan Reynolds' filing. Their primary frustration appears to be that Justin highlighted victims, provided resources, and pursued a campaign that differed from their original marketing intentions. To summarize, the motion for summary judgment, along with the motion and judgment on the pleadings response, attempts to use every possible argument to portray Baldoni negatively. This represents their final stand, akin to a final paper or exam, acknowledging implicitly that they are likely to lose. They lack evidence, cannot prove sexual harassment occurred, and cannot demonstrate that the marketing campaign constitutes retaliation. Their lengthy filings aim to depict Baldoni as problematic, but ultimately, the true contention revolves around his marketing efforts, partnership with No More, and the use of No More's pre-prepared promotional materials, which raised $600,000 for domestic violence shelters. This focus on supporting domestic violence resources, rather than any personal misconduct, is what allegedly impacted her reputation. The reality is that the promotion of these resources, not Baldoni's behavior, forms the basis of the claimed reputational harm. So, what are your thoughts on this situation? Share your perspective in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and click the bell icon so you never miss a video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye besties.